What's happening, everybody? Day 2 on the job, and I actually beat Rick here this morning, and I left the case key. I locked up the excavator last night, and I left the case key in his truck, so I didn't bring my operator keys because he was going to have the case key. I can't even fire up. What's that all about? So we're going to walk the job site real quick here, and I'll give you a quick overview of what we're going to start off with this morning. Which, by the way, I totally forgot, but we are still rocking the Brahmas. If you guys haven't been following, about 3 weeks ago, when I took my road trip to Ohio, which you can click up here or up here, whichever side it's on, to go follow that storyline. But yeah, I forgot my work boots when I went out there. So I had to go to Walmart and buy some cheap Brahmas. And I told you guys I would keep you updated on the Brahma situation. We've been, I would say, on job sites for about two and a half weeks of real working conditions, and they're holding up all right. You know, obviously they're dirty, but you know, they're work boots. But as far as comfort, they're actually halfway decent. They're not too bad from a comfort standpoint. So I'm a fan from that view, and they are really, you know, they seem to be holding up. But it's 3 weeks in, so I'll let you know in a year how they're doing, because my Red Wings, I think, are 5 or 6 years old now, and still, you know, they're rough around the edges, but they are still functional work boots. So I don't know that you're going to get that kind of run time out of a set of Brahmas, but hey, if you could get like a year or two out of them, I could see that being a decent work boot, so for the price. So anyway, all that to say, we're back here in the woods. I'm going to start over here. Let me make sure I'm pointing you guys where I want you to see. Come on now, screen. There we are. So we're kind of at the back of the tree line right in here. We'll go a little bit further back. I think Rick may pull the mulcher out and stab back in there another 10 or so feet. And then I'm gonna keep working over here, kind of back this direction to get us a little further back. You can see last night, sorry, I'm had coffee on the way here. I'm just burping all over the place, oh yeah, we're not gonna go any further back because that's the water right there. So this is about our tree line. So I'm gonna come in here this morning, kind of pull some more of that crap out of here, and we'll just keep working this tree line back for Rick. I'm probably gonna end up laying over those 2 trees, and then we're gonna move up here into this center area and start tackling that. That big tree right there is leaning back over where the guy's got his blade, his snow blade sitting. Snow plow, snow blade. Jesus, Brian.
Your husband has had a stroke.
I lied to you guys. I'm not even in this industry. I just walk around and act like I am, because I don't even know what a freaking snowplow is called. Anyway, that tree is leaning over where the guy has his snowplow parked, so I'm probably going to shove that sucker over this way with the excavator. So yeah, that will kind of fire off our morning, is tidying up back here, and then I'm going to be on berry duty for a long time. So we've got this pile of crap that I'm pulling out, and I'm going to get more stuff over here and chunk it over here. So we'll continue to bury this stuff, which is probably going to get buried right about where I'm standing here. And then you can see we've got a couple more piles back over there. They're gonna get buried, and then there's a whole lot of shit up there in that middle section that we're gonna start working on, and so we're gonna have to bury all that stuff. So that is the plan for today. We will see how much progress we make. Tomorrow is going to be more tidy up work to prep for the chipper. The chipper's coming on Thursday. I'm definitely gonna get you guys some good footage of that, but at the same time, my children are coming out for a little bit, so there will be a gap in my day where I hang out with the kids and let them see this awesome chipper. So anyway, overview of the day, overview of the rest of the week. I'm gonna go grease that thumb so I don't have to listen to that f***er squeak all day, because that was driving me nuts. And then we're gonna fire up, so I'll meet you guys in the machine. In the woods again. Well, the thumb ain't squeaking looking as bad, so maybe a little bit of that grease found its mark. Because there was a squeak again. Kind of in my way, so I'm gonna go ahead and take care of him. Who needs a feller bunch your head? I can just snip these babies to the right length with the thumb. So I've talked about the time it takes this head to spool down. Rick has been out of the cab for 30 seconds. Look at how fast that head's still spinning. The head on that fecon weighs about, I don't know, 750 pounds or so, maybe even more than that. It takes like a full 5 minutes to really spool down unless you put it on the ground and stop it. But if you let it free spin, it's a solid 5 minutes before that thing spools down. That thing is a mean attachment. to double move this stuff. So we're going to try to dig a borrow pit right here and see what happens. I would say we're off to a promising start by that scoop. Oh, you know what? This is what happens when you put a smart operator in the seat. That right there is one of my other borrow pits. So unfortunately, we will be unsuccessful with my building because we're going to uncover all the stuff I already buried, damn it. So I'm probably going to do it on the back side there. In fact, we're going to move over there and dig a borrow pit over there. That's a really essy thing about this job. No, I changed my mind again. I changed my mind again, guys. I'm gonna keep pulling all this stuff. Let me spin you so you can see. I'm gonna keep pulling all of this stuff into this pile here because I can reach it all. Again, in this game, it's always about efficiency and production. Instead of moving all over, I'm gonna keep throwing into this pile. Directly on the back side of it in that high spot is where I'm going to dig my borrow pit, and I can bury that whole pile and I can start pulling stuff from over there. So that's what we're going to do. So now that I'm planning a little bit more, we're not going to waste a bunch of time around over here. I know I'm a little scatterbrained this morning, but like I said, this is one of those jobs where there's just not really a cut and dry approach, and so we're making it up as we go. Like Rick found him another piece of rebar. So here's what I'll do. Since you guys know the general plan now, I'm going to keep at all of this, you know, scrapping around for all this business. And I'll hit you guys up later when we start digging the borrow pit or something else that's kind of interesting. Achoo! Daggum! So, that being said, we'll catch you guys here in a bit. Alright guys, I threw the cameras back on because we're about to take down a couple big old trees. So what I'm going to do here is dig down on each side and rip the roots out, and then on this back side, my thought process is if I leave the roots intact on the front side of the tree, it will act as a hinge point so that the tree will drop where I want it to, which is out that way. So that is the plan. And yeah, we're gonna record this with the hands view, the cab view, and I've got the drone up in the air. So hopefully we'll get some pretty good shots of this happening. There's so much concrete and garbage back in here, it's unreal. So I don't know much about knocking down trees, but I do know one thing. The higher up the trunk you hit, the more leverage you have over it. So I'm gonna hit this guy pretty high, maybe. Oh, that's not exactly what I wanted to do.
What? You son of a bitch!
Didn't necessarily want to lean him up against that other tree out there. There we go. There's one down. We're going to do the same thing to this guy over here. Got some serious roots coming this way, and that is exactly why I'm chopping on this side first, is to break those roots free so that it wants to fall away from me. We're going to hit it up high. You want me to hold it or just leave it? guys, we're back again. We've moved up into the middle area here that we discussed this morning. And it is an absolute disaster. So what I've done, I'll spin around here in a second. I've dug a borrow pit behind me in the one area of the job where we got good material. And I am slowly filling it, and then I'm kind of leapfrogging like we were earlier. So what I'll do is I'll raise this up another foot or so with stuff, and then I'll use this area that I'm sitting on. I'll dig a new pit and use the material to cap what I've got there, and that will leave the pile out there for when we go to balance. We can use that as material to cap the rest of the stuff. So that's what I've been up to. Rick was just over here with the mulcher, and I tried to turn on the GoPro, and the battery died like 30 seconds in, so I didn't get any footage of Rick mulching up against me. But it is what it is. So Rick and I both agree that we're over this job. It was cool at first, but there's just so much garbage in here, and it's tedious, and you've got to sort everything. So we're both over it at this point. It'd be one thing if you could dig a borrow pit somewhere and just start stuffing stuff, and it was, you know, decent material coming out. But the problem is you dig a borrow pit and then you fill half of your borrow pit in with the stuff that came out of your borrow pit. So there is just garbage everywhere. But an interesting little factoid for you. I am in Grand Blanc, Michigan, and back in World War II, the Grand Blanc plant produced tanks. And so a lot of this concrete that we're pulling out of here is more than likely where they ripped out the tank test facility that was here. Right down the road, less than a mile up the road here, was the test facility where they would do it was the proving grounds basically for the tanks coming off the line. And so I think, based off of the size of re-rod we're seeing in this and the thickness of the concrete, I'm almost positive that a decent chunk of this is where they ripped out the old proving grounds for the tanks. So that's kind of nifty, but it sucks for digging in. I'm kind of wishing that, I'm kind of hoping, I should say, that maybe we come across some cool tank parts. That'd be neat, but I doubt it. This is very clearly a garbage heap of mostly concrete. I'm sure there's some asbestos mixed in there too, just for good measure.
What the hell is even that?
It did that to me yesterday. I have no idea what's causing that thing to trigger. Unless there's like there's no thumb control for it. I have no idea what's causing that thing to trigger. I wonder if it's just a loose connection that's shorting when I bump it a certain way. There's nothing good. Nothing good at all. That's a borrow pit there that I'm trying to cap off, but again, there's just garbage in everything I touch. Well, I'm going to start digging the next cell in my borrow pit here. Why didn't you guys say something? Basically, for my borrow pit, as much as I like to go deeper, the water table is not that low, so I'm stopping about the water table. Which is about as deep as I am now. That, and believe it or not, that deep, there is more stuff down there. And my fear is, as we move further up into this area, I'm afraid that we're going to run out of good material. What I'm convinced they've done on this site is they used to bring in loads of concrete, cap it with dirt once the lot was all full, bring in more concrete, cap it once the lot was full. So I don't even think what we're finding is a borrow pit. I think this is just all trash fill. And that's why we're having such an issue finding an area that we can bury stuff in. Use some of this to cap behind me here. I throw on the camera for you. Basically, we have moved up to this center area that I talked about this morning.